Greetings everybody, I'm Daniel Cox from Natural Exposures TV, and today I just want to discuss with you some of the things that are going on in the industry right now, the photography industry. I've been pretty quiet for the last 6 months, and the last thing I really kind of did was produce a short little video comparing my Lumix cameras to the Sony A9 and the 2 to 600 millimeter lens, as well as the Olympus 300 millimeter 4 on the EM1X body. And since that time, 6 months ago, things have changed dramatically in the camera world. We all know part of the reason for that is this COVID-19 pandemic that's been going on. And also just the fact that the camera sales before even COVID came on the scene were dropping dramatically month after month after month after month. So since that time, I have been pretty much using the Sony system along with the Olympus system, and kind of on the fence between the two, really admiring and appreciating the flexibility of the zoom in the 2 to 600 range that we've got compared to the fixed focal length of the Olympus, which is itself an amazing lens. Actually a bit sharper than the Sony, I think. And between the two, I have been going back and forth trying to decide what I'm going to do. But there was some big news this last week. Actually, it's almost probably been a week and a half now in the industry, where Olympus has announced they are no longer going to be continuing to produce cameras and lenses, and that the company is selling off the photographic division. I kind of hesitate a little bit on all that because there's been several reports, some of them from Olympus executives, some of them from Olympus representatives in Europe, that make it sound like they're hedging their bets just a little bit. There's a company they are working with to buy the Olympus camera division, and from what the reports say and what Olympus says, they plan to continue producing quality research and development and products that involve Olympus cameras and lenses. They won't say that the cameras and lenses will be Olympus camera bodies and Zuiko lenses. It's all very, very vague and, to be quite honest, a little strange. It almost sounds as if Olympus is having second thoughts on what they announced a week and a half ago. So I was completely disheartened because between the two systems, I really was leaning more towards the Olympus system and going with that, waiting for the lens that I've been drooling over since it was announced, the 150 to 400 millimeter f4.5, which, based on what I'm seeing, is going to be somewhat similar to size and dimensions of the Sony 200 to 600 millimeter lens. But with the Olympus, we'll have 300 millimeters to 800 millimeters, along with a 1.2 teleconverter in it, which brings it up to 1,000 millimeters, with the incredible image stabilization of the Olympus system and all the things that go with the professional series cameras that they're producing, the weather sealing, durability, sharp lenses, and all those things that I've come to love about the Olympus system. But that all may be for naught. They're saying that they're going to release that lens. Will I buy it? I haven't decided yet. It's going to be an expensive lens. I don't know what it'll be. There's just been speculation on price. It's been anywhere from $2,000 up to $10,000, and I would be surprised if it comes under $5,000. So that's an expensive lens to buy without knowing if you're going to have the newest technology in the camera bodies to use it with in the future. So the jury's still out on that. I haven't decided, but I wanted to share all this with you because many of you guys don't follow the news like I do. I'm a photographic news junkie, and I've been surprised at how many people I've talked to recently that didn't realize Olympus had announced that they were getting out of the camera business. So I wanted to discuss this all with you and just share my thoughts on that. To say that I'm confused right now would probably be an understatement. I've never been in a situation like this with my photography where I was completely uncertain which camera brand I was going to go with. There's so many things going on out there. Sony is doing some great stuff. Olympus is doing some great things. I'd actually be thinking about Nikon again right now if it weren't for the fact that they're so far behind in lenses. Canon has just announced some really amazing new tools. The R5, the R6 look very, very tempting. They've finally made some ergonomics changes on their cameras that I'm really impressed with. So there's a lot going on in the industry right now. I just wanted to share some of these thoughts with you guys and explain that if you guys are confused, don't feel bad. I'm seriously confused myself, hoping and wishing that somehow the Micro Four Thirds system is able to survive. Panasonic is still planning to stick with it as far as we know. But, you know, they got into full frame cameras. It was one of the reasons that I finally spoke up about the issues that I was seeing with their Micro Four Thirds. They have a tremendous following in the video category of cameras with their GH5, which I'm shooting this video on right now. And so there's just a ton of turmoil and lack of absolutes in the camera industry right now. Let me just finish by saying that one of the biggest frustrations that I have seeing Olympus decide to throw in the towel is that it's really such a shame that an entire category of camera that is so good at what it does as far as being compact, lightweight, high quality, but the word just never got out. And I did my best to try and convince people that you need to try this stuff. But everybody thinks bigger is better. And the downside to that is that if these guys truly do go away completely and Panasonic decides to give up on Micro Four Thirds, which I have a hard time believing that they can do any of this without Olympus, and vice versa. And it was always one of the reasons I talked highly about both. Olympus and Panasonic needed each other to make this work. So we're going to see an entire category of cameras potentially go away that'll never, well, may never come back again. And that eliminates our ability to have that choice. And that's my biggest frustration. As much as I'm enjoying shooting this system and I like what I'm getting from it, it's considerably bigger than I was shooting with my Lumix and Olympus gear. Not only that, but it's a lot more expensive. The lens is relatively inexpensive, but the bodies are considerably more expensive. And that's my frustration and disappointment. And I just wanted to let you guys know that if you're confused at this point, you're not alone. This is a very difficult time for photographers as far as knowing where our camera companies, the ones that we really depend on and cherish, are going to be at any given point. With that, I'll let you go. I just want to say thanks for watching this. I hope that it may have cleared up some things in your mind, even though there is no absolutes. What we're hoping is going to happen is Olympus is going to continue on. Sony's doing some great things. That's going to be an option. Canon's just announced a number of great new tools. And then there's Nikon. Let's check back in 6 months, maybe a year, and see where this all goes. If you enjoyed this video and got anything out of it, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. If you didn't, that's okay too. I don't do a lot of this. I just do it when the desire strikes me, and I'll continue to try to communicate with you guys on a more regular basis if I see that you guys are getting something out of this that is beneficial to you. Thanks for listening. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Be well. Wear a mask and enjoy photography.